Broadcasting live from the Jersey Shore, it's Coach Kev on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode here of the Indie Super Show on the Damage 365 Radio Network. Coach Kev leading you the way. We have a couple of interviews today on episode number 4 that hope helps out during this pandemic as we slowly start to open the country after this coronavirus scare. We will be joined from Japan by indie wrestler Masha Slamovich, and a little bit later in the show by former WWE Women's Champion Molly Holly. So without further ado, we are going to jump right into this interview with Masha Slamovich. It's already in progress, so enjoy this, and after that we will go to commercial break and then bring you the Molly Holly interview. So enjoy, folks. You get a different look of things when it comes to, being in Japan compared to the United States. I mean, the entire world is going through some craziness with this pandemic from the coronavirus. And I thought it would be cool to give you a call and maybe talk to you about what you've been doing to keep yourself busy and safe from this whole pandemic, and, how Japan is handling the situation. Like, if gyms are open, or if they're doing like takeout only at food places. Like, you know what's going on here. I mean, you have family here and friends here. So what is it like in Japan during the pandemic?
Well, originally, about until March 30th or like March 26th, no one it wasn't spoken about, so everyone just wore a mask, because it's kind of the culture here anyways. Mm-hmm. So to see everyone wearing a mask was nothing out of the ordinary. It's just, I suppose, a little bit more people were doing it.
Right.
But they ended up canceling all big events after, was it the 26th of March or something of the sort? Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks ago, they declared a state of emergency here in Tokyo and the surrounding prefectures. However, that didn't make too much of a difference of where I'm living. I live about 20 minutes away from Tokyo in Funabashi, which is in the prefecture of Chiba.
Okay.
And, stores are open, restaurants are open. I live across the street from a park. Everyone's out there every day. There's track teams practicing, kids running around. I know that within the metropolitan Tokyo area, there are some places that are shut down, like certain restaurants. I'm not too sure about gyms, as I don't need to go to a gym because we have our own gym in the dojo, so I can't really weigh in on that.
Gotcha.
But I know, there was a local gym in my area that got shut down because somebody within it had coronavirus.
Okay.
So that's all I can say on that.
Well, that makes sense. So obviously it's a lot different than what we got going on here. I mean, everything's pretty much, shut down. Only essential businesses are open, and any food places are takeout and curbside delivery. And, the fast food joints are really raking it in now because of the, the pickup window. So it sounds like it's, tremendously different. But, you guys are still going through your normal routines with training and everything?
Yeah, life here is, I guess if you were deaf, and you would never know that anything is different, honestly. Because here in the dojo, as we've been training, I think we're training now more than we were before, if anything, because we all have a bit more time to focus on our training, and we have a bunch of new equipment. So this coronavirus, I guess the only thing that it's affected was all of our shows, really. And the ringside, the bar that Jagusa Nagayo owns, I believe that is currently shut down. I'm not too sure, but I guess those are the only two things that have been drastically affected.
That's crazy. And I know people are going to hear this and they're probably going to be really pissed off and angry because, people are tired of sitting in the house. They want out and they want business and life to get back to normal and as usual. And some states are starting to do that very slowly, but there's, a lot of professionals out there, I'll do air quotes, professionals and doctors and, people who are saying that it's not a good idea for us to be opening the states to everything that we used to do before, that it could cause a second wave of this coronavirus. And then you got the conspiracy theorists out there that's saying that this is, not as bad as it said it is. I mean, yes, it exists, but, it's not what they're making it out to be. The press makes it worse. And I do agree that the press makes everybody panic more, but I don't think they're lying about the information that they're given. I just think that they rely on the clicks on the internet, and they rely on people to sit there in front of the TV at night and watch it. That's how they make their money. That's how they make their revenue. But it's just weird how it's like night and day. You haven't experienced even a 25% shutdown, it seems, in Japan, where we're pretty much like 80% shutdown.
Absolutely. I'm definitely not going to sit here and tell you the virus isn't real, because it is. It is very real. But, there's places like Sweden, which I just read earlier today, that have not shut down anything, really. Everything is completely working, and sure, they have a bit of a higher rate of people getting infected, but they're also, from what it seems, 2 to 3 weeks away from gaining herd immunity. Their economy has not been nearly as severely impacted as their European neighbors and the rest of the world. And I actually personally have friends in Sweden, and, they're perfectly fine, and they're saying that life is just about as normal as it was. So, I think we all have a lot to learn, but I definitely think that it's, like you said, it's about the clicks, it's about the panic. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not saying that there's any conspiracies or whatnot. I'm saying that, as a general, with or without this pandemic, people kept in a panic. People kept watching the news.
Yep. That's
a whole other story, but you get my drift here.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what the press relies on. They rely on kind of I don't want to say cult following, but I mean, there are people who watch the news every single day. If there's a news bulletin or a break in their TV show for the news, they're watching it. They're on every word. And sometimes that's not a good thing, because it makes people afraid to do things, afraid to go out and check their mail, or afraid to even touch their mail. I mean, it's just, look, I've been home myself. I've said this on numerous shows. I've been home since March 13th, and we're going to, at this point right now, it is Friday, April 24th. So I've been home for 35 days or so, working from home when I can, doing my wrestling sales, online and things like that. Thank God I have that luxury to sell things from the internet. But I still have to get out of the house. I go to the post office for my deliveries. I, go to the supermarket to get groceries. I go to Walmart to pick up the necessities that I need to live every single day. At first I wasn't wearing the masks and things like that until they made it mandatory. And, now I have my little bandana thing I wear over my face and my nose, which it doesn't do a damn thing. It only helps people if I'm sick. It's not going to help me if they're sick, because if they breathe on me, my eyes are exposed, my ears exposed, my skin, it doesn't matter. It's just, them, I'm not going to get them sick if I was, but I'm not. And, my wife is an essential worker. She works in a warehouse that serves to supermarkets and things like that. And the New Jersey Department of Health, they store their respirators, their ventilators, their masks, their gloves, all in her warehouse. So she's, working 70 hours a week. She's got to go to work on Saturday, and she works from home too. It's crazy how it's affected everybody differently. And, people are struggling, and some people actually, doing better, and which is weird, but they're doing better because of they got the stimulus check, and some, a lot of people have filed unemployment. I filed for unemployment. It's been almost a month. I haven't heard a word. I'm not even, at this point, I've given up. So I'll just keep selling my wrestling stuff. But I mean, I'm just blown away by the fact that you haven't had to deal with any of this.
Yeah, because the second I found out that was what was going on, I was like, I don't want to fucking go home. Sorry about my language.
No, it's fine.
That was my immediate reaction. I said I'm not going to go. There's absolutely no point in me flying home and sitting on my ass for the next. However this continues, let's cross and pray to God that this will in some way, shape, or form blow over by May 15th, May 30th. But, again, I don't understand what the problem is with wear a mask. Cover your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, we can't all have N95 masks because, the people working in hospitals need those.
Right.
But, again, here in Japan, we have 5 million different masks with, designs and mesh and, fashion, basically, at this point. And if everybody wears a mask, the people who are sick, it's going to prevent them from spreading it. And if you're wearing a mask, so then there's two people wearing a mask, the more people wear masks and wash their damn hands, the better it'll be, right?
Yeah, personal hygiene.
It's a hard point to get across.
Personal hygiene is apparently a secondary thing with people's lives. It really scares me when I walk through the supermarket and I see, the entire aisle of Clorox wipes and sanitizing wipes and things like that completely wiped out. It makes me wonder, how gross these people were prior to that supermarkets never ran out of it.
I mean, I really just don't understand. Also, those Clorox wipes and hand sanitizers, yes, they're great. Clean your countertops, clean everything. But the best disinfectant is hot water and soap.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I worked with food.
In our homes,
yep.
Hopefully.
I worked with food. You're supposed to wash your hands with lukewarm to hot water with tons of soap up to 25 seconds. You dry with a clean towel. You then use sanitizer to sanitize your hands. And then, dealing with food, then you put on your gloves. And any time that you're done doing whatever you're doing, the gloves come off.
Oh, and there you have it.
And you wash your hands again before you touch anything. I see people, which it just is crazy. They're walking around supermarkets with gloves. I'm like, it's not doing anything for you because the only thing you're doing is you're touching things, and God forbid you get anything on that glove. You're touching your phone, you're touching your wallet, you're touching your debit card, you're touching the self-serve checkout, you're touching the shopping cart, and then you're taking it off and you're throwing it on the ground in the parking lot. I mean, I just don't understand these people.
Oh, that was my next thing I was going to say is the fact that everyone, first of all, no one knows how to take their gloves off correctly, right? So considering you somehow managed to not touch all your personal belongings and your face and your clothing and your cell phone, which you're going to put up to your face, then they're taking them off incorrectly, getting the germs all over their hands and littering and polluting the environment. So, what was it? This post was going around on Facebook. We're fighting two wars. It's the density and the density mentally.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, all these rubber gloves are, we're going to be, hospitals are going to be giving out paper gloves soon, like they replaced the plastic straws with paper. That's going to be next. Everybody's going to be wearing paper gloves.
At this point, everyone is just dwelling so much on this. Every time I go online and I look at any social media, all I hear is coronavirus this, coronavirus that.
Yep.
At this point, all we need is a little ray of positivity. We just have to do our, and let me tell you, it's hard, but we all have to continue to try to stay positive. And, well, shit, if this is going to mirror the last century, then right after this is over, we should all break into the Roaring Twenties and be drunk for the next 8 years, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, sure. Why not? I mean,
Great Depression.
Now, getting back to the home front, your family and friends, is everybody okay?
Yes, thankfully everybody is all right. My friends and family are all mostly located in New York City, and some in Florida, some in Jersey, but, you know, everyone is doing their best to stay safe and stay clean.
Well, considering those three are the worst three places to be during this pandemic, and they're doing okay, that's a good thing. That means they're doing what they need to do to take care of themselves.
Yes, they are. And unfortunately, living in New York just got, you know, a little more crazy than it usually is with this pandemic.
Yeah, and people in Florida are just a little bit more nuts, doing, you know, more than just those crazy Walmart videos that you would see on social media. They're just a little bit more extra nuts now. But they did open the beaches in Florida, and people by the thousands going to the beach.
I mean, what do you expect? They didn't shut it down for spring break, and now that they've opened it back up, are you shocked at all?
I was shocked they didn't shut it down for spring break, but then they shut it like right after that, and I mean it was literally closed for I want to say 2 weeks to 3 weeks maybe, and now it's, you know, reopened again. You know, it's one thing to open your state again. Say that one more time.
It's all about the economy, and
yeah.
Well, at least in Florida they are opening the entire beach. Unlike, what was it, like de Blasio or somebody said that they were going to open parts of the beaches during the summer to prevent crowding, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because you should open the entire beach to let people spread out instead of opening parts of it, so they're all going to crowd into that one area. So at least Florida did something right. Was they're going to open the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it's if you open up, you know, a mile of your beach and, you know, 5,000 people crowd into that, you're going to have people waiting to get in as people leave. It's just going to be like a constant line of flow, kind of like Sandy Hook here in New Jersey during beach season, and everybody, all the bennies come up, come down from the north, and they kind of just take over our shoreline, and you can't even get over the Highlands Bridge to get into Seabright or Monmouth Beach because there's people waiting to get into Sandy Hook. And that's not, I mean, that's a small beach compared to, you know, Florida, but it's a pretty large square foot of property of beach that, you know, it gets filled up really, really quick. So, I mean, that's what's going to happen in New York is just, it's going to get like that. And you would think, like, you know, the more room you have, the thinner you're going to make it. I understand what he's saying, but it's not going to work because it's never worked in all the years of controlling any kind of crowd or traffic. You know, you close one lane of traffic on a highway to try to reduce the amount of cars on the road. It doesn't work. It doesn't do that. It just slows it up even more. And, you know, they make HOV lanes.
It's absolutely not going to work for that very reason. And it's also not going to work because I'm a New Yorker, and I know that New Yorkers don't give a damn. So everyone's going to be all over that beach anyways, whether it be legal or whether it not be legal.
Yeah, well, or they'll just make their own beach. You know, like I can see about you know, a couple hundred people going to Home Depot, buying some bags of sand, and making their own beach in the parking lot of the beach.
Man, let me tell you, it's New York, so we're going to have a lot of entertaining online content this summer.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm hoping, you know, the whole think positive. You know, I'm hoping by the end of May. I mean, they said May 15th they were hoping to reopen New York and New Jersey. Realistically, I don't see that happening, but if it does, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm not going to be disappointed. But I would really like to see June, the beginning of June, kick off to where we're actually going to be able to live our lives and go out and enjoy life and things like that. I mean, it's, I live in a shore town, so I like to go down to the beach. I like to go down to the bulkhead and go crabbing. I like to do, things like that. We're not even allowed to do that stuff. We're not even allowed to park in the lots near the waterfront. I like to go out to a restaurant and sit out on the water and, eat my crab legs. Can't do that. So, selfishly, I'm hoping that by June, life is kind of back to normal, or at least a controlled back to normal. And when are you coming home?
Well, to answer that question, I'm coming home whenever things get better, or maybe not. Who knows? My visa has been extended till July 25th, so you guys might not see me for a while. But, I mean, again, there's nothing to come home to, so
Right.
I'm hoping that they start opening life back up because, as you can see, people are protesting already, so people are going to start rioting next. Don't say I didn't warn you, because people are tired of sitting inside. People are tired of not being able to live, not being able to work. And, the future's not looking bright if it stays this much longer, which I don't think.
I don't think so either. And, I think some of these people need to learn how to occupy their time constructively. Like, I've gotten a lot of things accomplished in my home that I really didn't have the time to do prior. Now I'm getting it done. Home Depot, Lowe's, like all those home improvement places, Walmart, Target, they're all open. So you can run, get what you need, and go home and fix what you need to get fixed. The essential businesses like plumbers and contractors, as long as it's an essential job that needs to get done, they can all work. You need a deck put on your house, or you need your deck replaced. It could be done. It's allowed. Use this time to get things done.
You could use this time to play Bob the Builder and do it yourself.
Yeah, that's what YouTube's for, right? I've done it. I've learned how to do stuff using the DIY on YouTube. Sometimes I was able to use the things I already had in the house that I didn't even know I can use for the project. Sometimes I had to run out and get something. But I mean, constructively using your time. Also, people are home with their kids, and I'm sure some of these parents are getting a little stir crazy with their kids being home 24/7 and having to do the online schooling and things like that. It's a little bit of an awakening that you're away from your kids for like 6 to 8 hours a day while you're at work, they're at school, and then you come home and do homework and dinner and get ready for bed and stuff like that. Spend your time with your kids constructively. Do stuff. Get them involved in hobbies. Don't rely on automation and technology to babysit your kid while you're home. Take interest in their interests. Like what they like. Get involved. Teach them stuff. Show them what a vinyl record is.
Yeah. And like you said about, we're in the day and age where we have the most information right at our fingertips. Like you said, the DIY with YouTube, we have all the information, more than we've ever had at any point in our lives. Listen, if you want to build something and entertain your kid, tell your kid to grab a hammer and teach them how to nail something in. I remember being 3-4 years old, my dad was teaching me how to fix things and whatnot, instead of sitting in front of iPads and, I didn't have none of that when I was growing up. We were building, painting things, go outside, play in the yard, and social distance, but, if you're in your backyard, you can go shoot some hoops or something, mow the lawn.
Yep.
There's so many things that we can all be doing, but, technology does not have to be one of those things unless it's being used as a valuable learning tool.
Exactly. I mean, you just said, I was like, when I was younger, I used to hold my dad's tool belt, and I learned what all the tools were because I had to hand them to him while he was working on stuff. My Etch-a-Sketch didn't get the internet, so I wasn't able to go online and do like things like that. I don't even think the internet was around, because I didn't know what AOL was until the 90s. So I didn't know any of that stuff. But But again, I wasn't in a family that had computers. I took computers in school. I learned the basics, stuff like that. I actually taught my father how to use the computer when he bought one, which was kind of cool. But we used it to play some games here and there. But it's like people live on it. I mean, it's just like you can't even pull them away from it. If you pull them away from the computer, they got it on their phone. You pull them off their phone, they have it on their tablet. We're all guilty of it. I mean, let's get it. Let's be blunt. We're all guilty of it. We all have smartphones, smart devices, smart TVs, Alexas and stuff like that, or whatever, the Google Home and all that stuff. We all have it. I'm guilty of it. Every friggin' outlet in my house is hooked up to my Alexa, and shit, my Christmas lights are even hooked up to it. I mean, I just tell her what to do and she does it. So, I mean, look, it's available to you. I use it, but I don't see it as, I learned since I've been home, I've learned to not rely on it. I mean, yes, I have to go on YouTube to learn how to do something, but I feel like I'm using it more constructively than I used to, where I used to use it as a crutch to occupy my time. Now I'm using it to learn how to do something else away from it to occupy my time. If that makes sense.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yes,
absolutely. Okay. I'm happy to hear that because, like you said, with all these Alexas and stuff, personally, I'm not a fan of those things because, they're listening into your information. So I'd rather not have those things in my home. But, I prefer to be quite old school. I had somebody send me books because I wanted to read while I was out here, and instead of being, on my phone. Now I have 3 books to keep myself occupied with, and the tablet that I do have, honestly, like I said, we have so much, especially as a wrestler. 15 years ago, you couldn't go online and find every match that you want to see from every promotion. So I've been using my time constructively to sit here and watch all the good old 80s, 90s wrestling. When I'm not working out and I'm not in the ring, I'm studying or I'm reading. So, even with the presence of technology, there's absolutely no reason to be mindlessly occupying your time with nonsense.
I agree.
But that's just my opinion.
I agree.
Sometimes you have to just go ahead and binge watch a Netflix show. That's also life. And, within the course of this pandemic, of course, be productive. Like I said, go build something, go learn something. But also, you need a mental break for a minute. And if you want to go watch some god-awful Jersey Shore, then if that makes you feel better, then that's what you go and do.
Look, I at night, I watch a lot of television because I don't do it during the day. I don't really watch TV. I don't think my TV's even turn on during the day. The TV in my office I use as a secondary monitor when I'm working, but only at night, because I don't watch the same thing my wife watches. She watches other shows. I watch different shows. We have some shows that we watch together. But when those shows are over, she goes and watches hers. I go and watch mine. I've gotten very good at being able to work while the TV is on in the background and still being able to pay attention to my work and know what's going on the television. Multitasking at its finest, but it's, again, like I said, I don't rely on it as a crutch. It's just entertainment value. I use it for what I grew up. It was to me when I grew up, the television, cable was new when I was a young kid. It was entertainment only. When we had TV time, we would watch TV, at night. I would be able to come home from school, watch TV for an hour, do my homework, get ready for dinner, eat, shower, get my stuff ready for the next day, and then I'd be able to sit down for like an hour, hour and a half, watch TV with my parents, and then I go to sleep. And I kind of kept doing that my entire life because I don't watch TV during the day, and I'll watch, a couple hours before dinner. I'll eat dinner, do my thing, and sit down and watch TV with my wife, and then, she goes to bed, and then I work. I'll either do my interviews at night like we're doing tonight, or I do some of my graphic designing. If I have any bookings coming up, I work on that. Internet sales with the wrestling stuff we've been doing for the past 8 or 9 days. So, kind of have a routine, and I don't think it's a bad one because literally, if I go on vacation, we just spent almost a week in January in Los Angeles, and I don't even think we looked at the TV once, so it doesn't bother me either way.
So. Hey, the TV is not life essential. So if you're on vacation, then I'm sure there's plenty of other things to do than be stuck watching your television. But like you said, it's very important to have a routine, any routine really, because I mean, me personally, I don't really know how to function without a routine. I've been living in a routine for so long that I just kind of have to continue that. So, routine brings peace to the mind.
It does.
So as long as you have some kind of routine going, even during this insane time, then you're doing well.
I agree 100%. And any tips that you can give anybody out there, or suggestions, people here in the United States, to stay safe, or other things that possibly to occupy. I mean, we hit a lot about occupying your time, but just anything you can give people who are going to be listening to this, wrestling fans and whatnot.
My tips for staying safe, cover your face, wash your hands, really. I mean, there's not much else you can do. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to socially distance and whatnot. That's up to you if you want to stay home. I mean, let me tell you, you can go out for a jog. You can go out for a bike ride because you're not tied at the hip with any strangers while you're doing that.
Right.
I tell all my friends, go out, go for a run. The running gets your endorphins going. It gets your heart rate pumping, gets you sweating. You're going to feel great afterwards, I promise you. So go and get some kind of fitness going, no matter what. Even if it be yoga, I can send you a link to a hot yoga that I was attending before I left, which is now moved online, which has a bunch of classes that you can do. You can do them at home. You can do them in your backyard under the sun. You can do them in your sauna if you're lucky enough to have one of those. Yoga, running, biking. If you need any kind of home fitness instruction, my Instagram, my Twitter, Marvelous. We are currently doing a fitness program every day at 8 p.m. on YouTube Live, and it stays uploaded. You can watch that at any time in the day. You can watch it live. You can watch it back. On my Instagram, I can post workouts. I can send you other fitness pages that are currently posting workouts. There's absolutely no excuse to be slacking off right now when it comes to fitness. I cannot stress that enough.
I agree, and I'm not that type of person that runs to do exercise and stuff. But I do make sure that I do as much as I can in the limited amount of things I can do. I walk as much as possible. Walk, not just walking to the mailbox, but I'll just purposely walk up and down my stairs a couple of times a day, even if I have no need to go upstairs or downstairs, just to get the circulation going in the body, make it feel like I did something. Like you said, gets the blood rate going, gets the adrenaline going, and you wind up getting more energy, and you wind up getting more things done because now you have the energy instead of just sitting around waiting for the day to end.
Absolutely. And, like you said, going out for a walk, if you're not a fan of running or, you're older or you have some kind of injuries or whatever the case may be, go out for a walk. Walk for 30 minutes. Your body, needs vitamin D. You cannot deprive yourself of the sun. Human beings need the sun for health and to live. And I'm not sure how many people know this, but there has been many, many studies that show that more people die from coronavirus who have comorbidities, which are linked to a lack of fitness and a poor diet. Mm-hmm. So it goes hand in hand with working out every single day, finding something to keep your body going. Don't sit on the couch and eat a box of donuts every day. Don't just sit there binging on chips. When you go to the grocery store, try to make the healthiest possible choices that you can. And if you're on a diet, then do your best to stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because people who have diabetes, high blood pressure, all of those things, obesity, they are dying at a much faster rate than people who are healthy and fit and eating properly.
Yep, and those are facts. I've actually seen those. Those are facts. People have pre-existing medical conditions, diabetes, obesity, those are pre-existing medical conditions. Just because you don't want to acknowledge it doesn't mean it's not real. I myself, I'm a high protein, low carbohydrate diet. I just, try to stay away. Every once in a while I'm going to have ice cream. I mean, whatever, going to have it. Tough, too bad. But as far as the running, if you ever see me running.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. Like you said, having ice cream. Don't eat it every day, but nobody said you can't have it here and there. You can have a glass of wine on the weekends and some ice cream, but it's also important to make sensible decisions about that. And, if you're going to consume alcohol, try to think of the caloric value per how much you're going to drink, because if you drink 4 beers, you can probably have like 14 shots of vodka. I'm not telling you to go out and do that, but I'm saying it would probably be the caloric equivalent, because beer is a much more calorie and carbohydrate
it's liquid bread,
alcoholic beverage. And if you're going to go out and have ice cream, then there's choices you can make. For example, like Halo Top, which has a lot better macronutrients compared to, say, full fat Ben and Jerry's. I want to shout out an Instagram page that I think everybody should take a look at. It would be @Metabolic Mike, and he posts a lot of this kind of stuff that I'm talking about with the health and fitness and all that kind of things. A lot of things that people wouldn't go to think of. And what better time than the present to learn and change your lifestyle? These are all things that you can do from home, and it's all about healthier daily lifestyle.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do. I wake up whenever the hell I do decide to get up. I have my my protein shake, which I have a dairy-free protein shake, and my lunches usually consist of leftovers from dinner the night before, and I cook every night. And once in a blue moon, we'll grab Taco Bell because it just breaks up the routine. Cooking at home 7 days a week. So once you get to that like 8th or 9th day in a row, you kind of want to break it up. Have some Taco Bell, and that's about it. But I mean, we try to keep it. But we were doing this before this even happened. Anyway, the both of us had weight loss surgery back in 2000. I don't even know what year what year were we in? 2017. Yeah, 2017. And so we had to change our lifestyle, our eating habits, and how we approached meals and cooking and things like that. So we're on a better habit than we used to. Who knows? I mean, if we didn't have it, we could have had the coronavirus, just because of our terrible eating habits and health and everything else. I mean, I was borderline diabetic, so was she. I had high blood pressure, I had sleep apnea and everything else, and I don't have any of that. And I feel good, and I don't really preach about it because, I did have the surgery. I didn't do it the old-fashioned go to the gym and eat salad every day kind of diet. I just, after 40 years of being fat, I needed to kind of nip it in the ass.
Hey, whatever way that you had got it done, God bless you both that you did. Clearly, the medical and physical payoffs were great in both of your cases. And if that is something that will help your lifestyle, then that should be discussed with your primary care physician.
Yep.
But also, it's never too late or it's never too early to start, eating clean and having a fitness regimen because, as you said, after 40 years or whatever, you needed to make a change.
Yep.
It is a lot easier if those eating habits and that lifestyle never exist in your mind, because then you don't have to work so hard to forget them. So if you start from a young age, then it will be a lot easier. And I think that is a conversation that a lot of people should be having with their children during this pandemic, instead of, feeding them chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Meat, some grilled chicken.
Yeah, please.
But,
exactly.
That's a topic that I can get into for quite a while.
Yeah. Nobody says you can't go in your backyard and fire up that barbecue. You're allowed. Throw some grilled chicken on there. Little salt and pepper goes a long way.
Exactly. Absolutely. Some paprika. Don't forget the paprika.
Yeah, paprika. Yeah, absolutely. So, I was gonna say before, I was like, because I don't like to run. I mean, I played ball my whole life. I played baseball, softball from the age of 4 until the age of 42. So I now if you see me running, I would suggest you run too, because that means something shitty is coming our way, and that's the only reason why I'm running. So, but I do appreciate you taking the time. I know you had training today and things like that, and I appreciate you taking the time to give us a call and kind of give us a view of things over in Japan. And he definitely enlightened us of the difference between Japan and America right now with this. But I do really appreciate you calling us, and I do wish you well, and I hope you stay safe, and hope you come home soon, which means that this will be over, because you'll be coming home, and we'll be able to reconnect at a wrestling show. And if Marvelous decides to do some Masha Slamovich trading cards, don't forget to bring a couple home for me.
I can see what I can do about that, and thank you so much for having me on your show today and having a well-needed discussion. I also hope that this all ends well, and I hope that wrestling starts back up soon, because I'm going a little insane without a full schedule.
Yeah, we all are. I mean, between all the conventions getting canceled and the independent shows that I'm not able to bring talent in for, and the store signings and things like that. I made ends meet with selling, but you can't replace the lost time. And I enjoyed doing it, and I still enjoy doing it. So the longer it goes that we're not doing, I'm afraid it's going to become a memory, a distant memory, and I don't want it to be.
Well, like I said, we can't think that way, as hard as it is to shut those thoughts out of our mind. But the more positivity we put out into the universe, the more positivity will be returned to us. So let's all just try our best. That is my only suggestion when it comes to that.
Awesome. Couldn't have said it better myself. Masha, enjoy the rest of your time in Japan. Stay safe, and we'll hope to see you soon.
Hope to see you soon. Everybody stay safe. And, if, like I said, if anybody needs anything fitness, whatever related, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Masha Slamovich.
All right. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you when you get back. Or I'll talk to you before that, but we'll definitely talk to you when you get back. Be well.
Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Masha Slamovich, ladies and gentlemen. She's awesome. She's very awesome to be around. Very grounded. Very humble. It's a great worker in the ring. I mean, I said this before. She's gotten so good from when I first started watching her until up to about 3 months ago. She's getting so good. Everything about her is getting. I mean, even the evolution of her body of work and her body itself. She was talking about nutrition and working out, and she's just like a machine now. And yep, definitely enjoy watching her wrestle, and I enjoy having conversation with her at shows and things like that. And who knows? Maybe she'll be a client soon of Damage 365 Promotions. So, but we're gonna go to a commercial break, and hopefully we'll be joined by our next guest. So sit back, relax, and we'll be back.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
This is Thunder Rosa, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio.
The Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, selling wrestling memorabilia from all around the world, including WWE, Impact, ROH, Japan, Mexico, and the Indies. They sell action figures, lucha masks, t-shirts, trading cards, magazines, DVDs, autographs, collectibles, vintage video games, and more. Stop in and get tickets for local independent wrestling such as UWA Elite, CZW, and Synergy Wrestling. Located indoors at the world-famous English Town Flea Market, Blue Building, booths 45 through 48 at 90 Wilson Avenue in Manalapan Township, New Jersey. Open every Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. all year round. Visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/FunkensteinINC. New Jersey's largest wrestling store is the Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore. Tell them Damage 365 sent you.
This is the last pure athlete, Jordan Grace, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Check us out at one of our fine locations, 930 Route 34 in Matawan, New Jersey, or 233 East Main Street in Manasquan, New Jersey. From pizzas and salads to pasta and buffalo wings, we have something to suit every member of your family. Whether you're seeking to take out, delivery, or you just want to dine in, let us do the dishes, as we would be more than happy to take care of your next meal. Our courteous and friendly restaurant staff is here to meet and exceed all of your expectations. We promise an enjoyable experience at every time we serve you. Try our award-winning Sesame Crust Pizza, a recent winner at the Las Vegas Pizza Open. Visit us online at sesamepizza.com for store hours, menus, phone numbers to one of our great locations. Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. So close to eating at Mom's, but without all the yelling.
Hey guys, it's Tennille Dashwood, and you're listening to the Indie Super Show on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head?
Hey, wrestling promoters and booking agents, you know where you can get inexpensive prints of your hired talent? Right here at Fast Copy Printing Center, located in the Pearl of the Bay Shore. That's right. Whether you need 8x10s, 11x17s, posters, long format, or even weatherproof signs, we can do it all. We also can create promotional items for your business, such as pens, business cards, drink koozies, banners, or just a coffee mug. Stop on down to Fast Copy Print Center, 81 Broad Street in Keyport, New Jersey, or just call at 732-739-4646. No job is too big and satisfaction is guaranteed. Tell them Damage 365 sent you.
Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and you are listening to Damage 365 Radio. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Time we'd like to welcome in the former WWE Women's Champion and former Hardcore Champion, and someone that I feel absolutely deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Our guest is Molly Holly. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, we've been talking to a bunch of current indie wrestlers and former on TV talent. We even spoke to someone that's on tour in Japan just to find out like how different it is over there. But everybody's going through this whole coronavirus quarantine and things like that. And I guess a lot of people kind of always want to know like what you guys do to pass time during this whole ordeal.
Well, I'm actually an essential worker. I don't wrestle or anything anymore, and I went and got myself a regular job, which I love. And I actually work in healthcare, and our job is to keep people's immune system strong so that they don't, so that if they do contract the virus, that it doesn't have any, terminal effects for people. So yeah, I am actually working full time.
All right. Well, we thank you for that, of course. People like you are, putting themselves in harm's way to help others, which is greatly appreciated. And we just had a flyover in New York and New Jersey by an Air Force team paying homage and a tribute to all the frontline workers and hospital workers and everything that have been doing this. So they had like a really cool flyover the other day. I don't know if your town did it.
Oh, that's great. No, we haven't had anything that spectacular. That does sound pretty awesome.
If I find the video, I'll definitely send it to you so you can see it.
Thanks.
But it was loud, like it shook the house pretty good.
Wow, sure.
So my dogs weren't happy, but I'm sure all the frontline workers were happy.
Yeah.
So like I guess like a lot of fans and people dealing with this kind of just want to know like what like advice you can give people to stay safe and just to avoid all necessary.
I have a ton of advice, but the thing is the chances of people following it is pretty slim. So here's my advice.
Okay.
Do not eat any sugar. So when you consume sugar, it lowers your immune system for 2 hours after consumption, and it makes you susceptible to catching the virus or suffering from it. So I see all these Instagram posts, all this stuff where people are like, I'm stuck at home. I've taken up baking. I've got a peach pie. I've got an apple pie. I've got this and that. And it's like, I'm sure it's a great creative outlet, but the truth is when you put processed sugar into your body, it causes stress on your body, which makes it less likely to fight off disease and infection. So I know people are doing the mask thing. I know people are, you should wash your hands. Like all of that stuff is awesome. But if you want your immune system to be strong, you have got to cut processed sugar from the diet.
Okay. That's
not popular.
I have not, no, that's fine with me. I mean, I guess like some people, if they don't plan on leaving the house or having anybody from the outside coming in, I guess they can get away with that whole sugar thing. But I guess if they're planning to leave the house to go food shopping or something else, I can definitely see where that might cause a problem.
Yeah, the best defense for any person is to build up a strong immune system. And the best way you can build up a strong immune system is to eat tons of nutrient-dense food, get good sleep, do moderate exercise. Like taking good care of your body is going to help you. So it's possible that 100% of Americans will get the virus. It's just that the people whose bodies are compromised are going to suffer, and the people who are healthy and strong, it may not even have a single symptom. And so since it's possible that every single person can get the virus, now is the time for Americans to take their health seriously, start eating nutrient-dense food, and avoiding processed sugar.
Is there any truth into some of the things I've been reading about vitamin D and vitamin C helps fight this off or avoids it?
Well, anybody can put like a pill into their body and hope that it's doing something. But the truth is, whole foods that are like natural, like vegetables, they have complexes that actually help your body absorb the nutrients. So let's just say you took a pill that said vitamin C.
Right.
Well, it's possible that your body might just eliminate that as waste and not absorb it because it doesn't have all the other factors that help your body, help get it into your cells. And so the best way to get nutrients is not through a tablet that you bought at Walmart, but instead through actual food.
Okay, so I shouldn't fill my bathtub up with orange juice and just lay there.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. There goes my weekend. What about the truth about people with type O blood being less susceptible?
I have not heard that.
Yeah, I've read that a couple of times.
Yeah, I guess I didn't hear that one. So,
I kind of got excited because I'm O positive, so I was kind of hoping.
I think I might be O positive too. I think I am. I'm pretty sure I'm O positive. Isn't that like a most common one? I don't know. We might have to ask someone who draws blood for a living.
I think so. I don't really know. I mean, I do know that they're always calling me that they want some of my blood. So because
right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, just people are going. There's just too much information available on the internet, and the problem is that you just don't know what's real and what's made up, what's a rumor, what is just somebody just typing stuff for the hell of it because they're bored. Like I don't like.
Right. No, that's true with any news situation. But you're right; it's flooded now with all sorts of stuff. I personally try not to spend all day watching news, reading the news, because it can cause stress and anxiety, which is another thing that lowers the immune system. Mm-hmm. So if someone lives in fear and they have a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, their body is less able to fight off disease and infection. So I personally want to keep my immune system good and strong. So even though I do want to know what's happening in the world, I don't want to spend my whole day obsessed about it.
Yeah, and I kind of feel, I mean, everybody's got their own opinion about our government and how they're handling it and stupid stuff that's said on TV and things like that. But I just, my opinion is, the media relies on people to turn that TV on and view or to click on those links on the computer. And I just feel that they're so taking advantage of the fear factor with the general public. And I feel like they're never held liable for the fear that they put in people.
Well, if people don't, I mean, it kind of reminds me of when I was in the wrestling and people were saying, Vince McMahon is just trying to sell sex. He doesn't even care about the women wrestlers. Like, everything's a pillow fight. Everything is a diva search. And all he cares about is women in bikinis. And I remember thinking to myself, but yeah, that's what draws money.
Right.
If the bikini girls walked out there and everyone got up and went and got popcorn, well, then they wouldn't do that. So if someone doesn't like the media, then they can choose to not look at it. It's just kind of the way the world works. I mean, and so as instead of, I don't know, I guess each person has an individual choice as to what they fill their mind with or what they fill their thoughts with. And so every single person has their own choice to watch the media, to not watch the media, it's just, it's up to each person.
Look, I don't even turn on the news, and I see articles from like CNN or Fox pop up on my newsfeed. I literally scroll right by them because usually the headlines have nothing to do with the story itself. It's just to catch your attention. And,
right.
Yeah, I try not to. I try to live in the now, believe what I see and what I've experienced. And, and others that, that I associate with and the family, like, who I love and things like that. And kind of live and learn from their experience as well. So I don't, sit there and dwell on like, oh my God, I got to turn on the news. I got to see, what they're saying. I need a live update. The governor's on. I got to go listen to him repeat himself for 4 hours. I just can't. It aggravates me. I know everybody's different. Like everybody looks at it different. Everybody has a different view. Everybody has a different opinion. Me personally, I can't even watch TV to begin with. Like I don't have you've worked with me. I can't stand still. So can you picture me sitting still watching TV? It doesn't happen.
Right.
So
right.
I'm always moving around.
Another lesson culturally that I hope is learn from this situation. I'm also super besides being into like physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, I'm also into financial health. And I think that culturally, we're a nation that lives above their means.
Mm-hmm.
And at times like this, it kind of comes to the forefront of like, oh crap, like now what? And so I think that this is a good reset as far as people understanding that when you live beneath your means, it just allows less stress and anxiety when there is a financial hardship. So there's a financial guru named Dave Ramsey, and I recommend that anyone go to Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey, and he talks about how saving up, how living beneath your means and having a savings can really bring less, like alleviate stress, help you live an actual more full life based on relationships, not so much based on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know I'm still working, but I'm someone who, I live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. My car is 15 years old. Like, I choose not to keep up with the Joneses, because if I were to lose my job, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm panicked about how am I going to get food, how am I going to pay my electric bill. And so I just live in a way that I'm prepared for things such as this. And so I know most Americans don't live that way. Most Americans who make the same amount of money as I do have a 3-bedroom house, 2 baths, have a lease or a car payment or all that kind of stuff. And so I think that hopefully this type of situation can help people reevaluate materialism and like what really matters in life.
Sure. That's definitely something to think about. And who is that that guru again?
Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University.
Okay, I'll look that up. Let's switch gears real quick. We didn't want to keep you on that long because, like you said, you're currently working, so you kind of different look of the pandemic, where a lot of other people are kind of trapped on the outside and looking for things to do. I have a couple of fan questions for you, wrestling related, of course.
Okay.
Phil from Brooklyn, New York, has 2 questions. He said, if you were afforded to have one more match with a current WWE talent, who would it be?
It would probably be Charlotte. I think she's amazing, and I think it would be when I was at the power plant. Her little brother, who has since passed, Reed, he came to the power plant, and he had never really done any kind of pro wrestling stuff before, but he and I were about the same size, and I taught, or maybe like a group of the guys where we're all kind of teaching him some things, but I got to be his partner, so I was like the first person he did a little suplex to, and so I loved Reed, and of course Ric Flair has always been very, very kind to me, and so and I think Charlotte is amazing, and so I think wrestling her would be really cool.
All right, that's cool. And I mean, history has showed with Charlotte, as long as you don't have a title, you have a shot at winning. But if you have a title, you're doomed. I was kind of hoping that you would have walked out, one of those shows that you did with the 24/7 title and bring back like the old days of the 24/7 hardcore.
Oh, that would be fun. See, I love when something is like creative. Not to say that I'm bored with regular pro wrestling, but I just love that you could incorporate so many fun, interesting ways to chase for a title or win a title. That was a really fun time for me.
Perfect example, before we get to that second question, is last night we were watching The Masked Singer. I don't know if you watched that.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, yeah, it's a show called The Masked Singer where these people come out in like these really cool, like very well designed masks and like outfits, and they sing, and the judges have to try to guess who it is, and then they eventually, by popularity, get eliminated, and once they're eliminated, they get unmasked. And one of the characters was the White Tiger a couple of weeks ago, and it was Rob Gronkowski, who used to play with the Patriots, is now with Tampa Bay. And he's currently the 24/7 champion for the WWE. He won it at WrestleMania.
What?
Yeah. And he was doing the post-show interview, talking about some of the other characters that are still on the show, and he's sitting there with the belt over his shoulder, bragging about it.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, but again, that's how, you bring wrestling into mainstream and TV and movie and everything else. So it was, I'm laughing. My wife's like, what the hell is that? Like, what is he talking about? And I'm laughing because I'm like, he's the 24/7 champion. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know this stuff? I forgot she doesn't know this stuff. But, all right. So Phil's other question. He wanted to know who was behind the whole Molly Holly gimmick and what your feelings were.
Well, I guess I'm guessing it was somehow the writing team, so I don't know who actually came up with it, but I was going backstage for a couple of weeks with WWE. I was in their developmental contract with them, and Dave Hebner came up to me backstage and he said, Molly Holly. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And he was like, Molly Holly, Molly Holly. And I didn't know what he was saying or what he was talking about. I'd never heard that phrase before in my life. And then maybe 2 minutes later, Stephanie McMahon came over to me and she said, we were thinking that you have blonde hair, Crash and Hardcore Holly have blonde hair. We're doing the stuff with Trish and Tess and Albert and that we, they just had like all these ideas and they said, we thought that you could be a Holly cousin and your name would be Molly Holly. And I was like, sounds great. I thought both Bob Holly and Crash were really talented people. I loved what they did on the show, and so I was happy to be considered a cousin.
It was a pretty cool thing, and I mean it lasted for a while. I mean, even after you kind of broke away from the whole cousin, family thing, and you were doing your own thing. You were Molly Holly. It was just it was pretty cool. I mean, you did some really cool things with WWE. I mean, you had a couple of title reigns and the hardcore title, which, the whole storyline behind that 24/7 defending of that was very funny and humorous. And a lot of like you and Terry Reynolds and a couple others won it at some cool little quirky endings in the back room and stuff like that.
Yes. And don't forget Bobcat. Bobcat yes. Being Cindy being one of the best hardcore champs of all time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Gotta give praise to her.
Yeah. I mean, it was you, Terry, Bobcat, and Trish were all the female hardcore champions, correct?
I guess I couldn't remember if Trish was or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if she
yeah,
is.
I think she was. Because I remember saying at one point that I, like, for convention-wise, I brought in 3 of the 4 for the female hardcore champion. So, yeah, Trish is a little out of my price range. But all right, I don't think there was a bunch of other questions, but I'm not going to bore you with the same questions. But I mean, I do.
I hope it wasn't too hard on you today, where I'm like,
no,
eat vegetables and sell your expensive crap.
That's what I've been doing for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm online selling all my crap. They hate me at the post office. But no, absolutely, it's an eye opener because you know what? It was a different look at it. I guarantee nobody's really heard. I mean, unless they're in the medical profession, about the whole sugar and eating vegetables and utilize your time to kind of like take care of your health and your body. And now I'm gonna get off this phone and I'm literally gonna go walk up and down my stairs like 15 times.
Awesome.
So, I mean, and I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to drink water because, I don't want sugar. I don't want.
And don't be afraid to eat vegetables for breakfast.
Oh.
Is that pushing it?
I think you're pushing it. I mean, I eat them for lunch and dinner, but I mean, unless look, I have no problem chopping up tomatoes and onions and peppers and putting them in an omelet.
Well, that sounds amazing. So what I do is I just take a frozen bag of broccoli out of the freezer and I throw it in the microwave for 5 or 6 minutes. and there, boom, vegetables for breakfast.
Yep. Little sea salt and cracked pepper goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
But Molly, I really appreciate you giving us a call and shedding some light from your aspect of this whole scenario. And I hope that you stay healthy, you and your family and everybody else that's close to you. Stay safe. We thank you again for going to bat for all of us, on the front line as an essential worker. And I know you and I have to talk soon regarding a September booking, if of course it allows us to do it. But
right.
We'll talk privately at another time about that, because right now our number one concern is beating this and you staying healthy, and
thank you.
So we can hang out again in a couple of months.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, take care, Molly. Thank you very much. Be well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Molly Holly, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. Criminal that she is not. But that concludes this episode that featured some great wrestling talent that we've had the pleasure of talking to. Of course, Masha Slamovich, who's in Japan right now, and we wish her well and thank her for coming on the show. And of course, Molly Holly. And as always, we ask that you help control the nitwit population and have your friends spayed or neutered. We'll see you next week. Take care, folks. Be safe.
Broken now.